Good morning. Happy Moon Day. And y'all know what time it is. It's time to get into this week's lunar astrology with world-renowned lunar astrologer, our beautiful Claudia Thompson. And I want a huge shout out to Lady Diva in Switzerland. Anyway, thank you very much for that beautiful good morning rendition of doesn't that just spark you up, Claudia? That music
I
just
love
kind of
jazz anyway. Yeah, and she really
she just
I don't know if that's jazz or whatever, but anyway, yeah.
I'm not even sure either, but yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So, well, we've got a big week this week, huh?
Yes, we do.
How was your
thing? Feeling it? You know, I mean, I've been feeling it, and you know, they talk about eclipses. We feel them actually. Those of us who are sensitive, particularly 6 weeks out. So if you wonder, you know, it's like, well, when did things kind of start to fall apart and put the pedal to the metal, et cetera, et cetera? Well, maybe it was like 6 weeks ago. It's like, oh, well, that explains some things. And then, you know, and then we had this Scorpio overarching energy, even though the sun moved into Sagittarius and said, yeah, celebrate, joyous, expand my life, have an adventure. And Scorpio was like, well, wait a minute. We're still in the basement of our soul, excavating the stuff, the old hurts, they get in our way. So, you know, that's moving off. It's moving into Capricorn, but where it's at home, where it's exalted. So it's going to really help you in fleshing out your plan in the aftermath of this eclipse. So I'm going to start with the week leading up to it, because actually the eclipse is the capper. It's on Friday here on the Pacific coast, but it's going to be on Saturday for some of the people watching. And I want
to do it before you get going though. I just want to give a real quick shout out, because you were on Interfaith Communities Church yesterday. You were on live on Spirituality Gone Wild with Dr. Sharon Stroud. So if anybody's missed that, please go back to Spirituality Gone Wild and just look at the replays and you'll see them. Good morning, Rita Lynn. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you are on here.
Morning,
It's been it's been a minute. Rita, you're going to love this. This is lunar astrology. If you haven't seen it yet, you're going to dig this one. It's good to see you, though. And hello, Eddie. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. And if you guys are popping in, if you want to share it out, that would be super duper. And I'm now going to hand this over to Claudia, and we will see you all shortly. If you have any questions, just type them in the chat, and we will get to them shortly.
So as the week begins, the moon is in Libra. And Libra wants peace and harmony and balance and grace and beauty, has a high aesthetic. So acknowledge the beauty in your life. Look at the beauty in your relationships and in your relationship to everything. And also acknowledge the places where you might be out of balance. You know, as we enter this winter season, it's really important to make sure that our health is in balance, that we have a balanced daily routine between the go, go, go and the ebb and flow, because we are in that time of year when we are regenerating. So we are asked, you know, we're moving into the depth of the dark. The solstice will be the longest night of the year. And then that spark, that rebirth ignites in the universe and in us as the sun moves into Capricorn. So we'll be talking about that later. That's, you know, we got a lot going on this week. Let's just deal with this week. So that's what's happening today. We are finishing up the last quarter phase. There are 8 phases of transformation in each lunar cycle. And so if you follow those phases, you'll find that they really do relate to the rhythmic action that you're being called forth in your life. And when the moon is waning, which is what it's doing now, as we wind down and get ready for this new moon, Sacco Bafo turbocharged, life-changing new moon solar eclipse on Thursday, late Thursday and Friday, you know, you want to take this time to regenerate. That's what your body, because your body's related to the moon, it's 70% water. So that's what the tidal activity in your body is telling you right now. I mean, all the animals know it. We just try to ignore, you know, that instinctual nature of ours, which is linked to the moon. But we are going to have, you know, one heck of a 2022. So you want to take the time to regenerate as we are in the balsamic phase of the year. So I've mentioned 2 phases. Last quarter is that reverse moon pie in the sky. When you look up and it's half dark and half light, the right side in this hemisphere is dark and the left side is light. And you'll notice that it's moving more and more into the balsamic phase. I'm going to tell you when that's going to occur. But the last quarter is a phase where we take stock. It's where what you built during this cycle now heads back toward the ground from which it came, the ground of consciousness, particularly, that produced it. So is your consciousness aligned with where you want to go? Is your consciousness aligned with what you saw that you wanted to course correct at the time of the lunar eclipse 2 weeks ago? So we're in a time where we're looking back 6 months, not just right now, but we are asked to have that bigger perspective about what we have created over the year, particularly in consciousness. And I love the Pointer Sisters song for this phase, because that song that's Get a New Attitude. That this is your opportunity now to get a new attitude before this solar eclipse pops, new light and new information. And you may find that you've been doing a bit of a dance of adjustment already, but Taurus asked you, the lunar eclipse asked you to look at your values, to look at what you truly need to be who you are. And it may have hit finances. You may be looking at finances. And in that case, if it seems like things have just slowed down, you're being asked to look at issues around self-esteem and your willingness to really do that radical thing, think out of the box and share your unique gifts. Look at what your unique gifts are. You're unique by divine design. So you have something, you're here at this time. So there's something for you to give to the world. It may simply be the fact that you vibrate at a high level every day, love and above. That's the level you want to reach for in your frequency, love and above. I'm not saying don't feel the fear. You need to feel your feelings, because your feelings are going to help you target your beliefs. And right now, at this time of year, as we finish up this time in Scorpio, we are taking out the trash. We are diving down to the basement of our souls and looking at the old hurts, the betrayals, the misuses of power, perhaps some blunders we've made in our life, and practicing radical forgiveness and surrender to that consciousness of light that is within us. Some call it the Christ or Buddha consciousness. So surrendering to that awareness that that is who you are. Now, this week starts off with the moon in Libra, and tomorrow we enter the balsamic phase. What is that? Well, that's the depth of the dark where the light diminishes so that you don't even see the moon for a couple of days before, a couple of nights before the new moon. Moonrise is at 3 a.m., moonset is at 3 p.m. And the first day you might see that little bitty sliver, and then it will just gradually disappear. Why is this so important? Because light equals energy. So just notice, I mentioned the theme of regeneration. So you may find that you need a little more rest, that you feel like you need to take a nap, maybe even a couple times during the day. And the veils are thinnest at this time in the cycle and this time of the year. So you might call on your ancestors for some help or some clearing. There might be something even genetically, the moon relates to your body, that you want to clear, that you want to just move out of the way, ask to be made aware so you can clear it. Cut those cords. We did that a few weeks ago, and we'll be doing that again periodically, probably at the full moon times. But as we move into the balsamic phase, we compost. We glean the wisdom, and this time it's a big gleaning because we had this lunar eclipse that was visible from the United States. So it's going to continue to unfold. And this becomes relevant because we are going to be doing a kind of a dance of adjustment between energies, and I'll be talking a bit about that. So on we have the balsamic phase tomorrow, and that happens in the evening at 6:07 p.m. We move into the balsamic phase. So that gives you permission, give yourself permission to regenerate, to notice if your energy is low, or if you're pushing against your energy, because sometimes we tend to do that as well. It's not a time to begin anything. It's like the worst time in the cycle energetically. If you want the support of the universe, and who doesn't, it's the worst time to begin something. So Tuesday rocks along in Libra, and then on Wednesday, we enter a new month, the 12th month of the year. And 12 is a big number in this current week. First of all, we have the 12th month. Then we have an eclipse coming at 12 degrees. This tells us that this is the completion, the end of a cycle. And as lunar nodes are involved with eclipses and take 18 years, approximately 18 years plus, to go around the zodiac completely as in the signs, we know that we are clearing a lot. We're clearing things from possibly that long ago regarding our beliefs. So as we rock along on Wednesday, tomorrow the moon stays in Libra. Relationships, we don't really have any long void of courses during the day this week. They are at night while we sleep. So that's a gift also, because void of course, there's no energy coming from the planets through the moon, so nothing happens. So, sleep, and your dreams may become very active, because also on Wednesday, we have Neptune moving direct. It's been retrograde since June 25th. So Neptune is dreams. It represents dreams, illusions, delusion. It can represent confusion, fog. And also, I want you to remember, because we may find that we are moving into, in post-eclipse for up to 6 months, some major confusion at times. And remember also that Neptune represents magic, the magic of your dreams, the magic of surrendering to the divine. It really tells you to connect with the things that inspire you, reconnect with them if they are not part of your daily routine. The moon's all about your daily routine, and it reminds you as Neptune moves forward to look at what the dreams are that you've had. Are your dreams and your visions aligned with your values? So you get to ask yourself that. And also at 3:35 a.m. on Wednesday, the moon moves into Scorpio. So that was the sign the new moon was in. And it reminds us of the theme and the deep dive work that you've done this month. So elimination, Elimination of those old hurts, elimination of the areas where you are at war with yourself, where your habits and patterns are caught up in intense emotions. And so they are not supportive as far as your health goes. The colon, the reproductive organs, these are things that are ruled by Scorpio and Pluto. So, it's a great time to do a cleanse, to do a pre-Christmas cleanse so that you are ready and so that you have a heads up as far as getting letting some of those habits go of overindulgence, because that's another thing that this sun in Sagittarius can engender, and that is the idea that more is better. And actually, when it's expanding your waistline, that may not be so true, right? Yeah. So the moon in Scorpio takes us back to what we set up at the new moon. How are we doing? And we're gleaning the wisdom, and we are composting. So it's when that which we have built heads back to the ground of being in our consciousness, and we look at what's going to make fertile soil for the planting at the time of the new moon solar eclipse. So let's say you're sifting through some dirt and there's some glass and some wood there and some things that aren't going to be beneficial to growth. And this solar eclipse is going to pop some major growth. So you want to weed those out. Let those go as much as possible. At least be aware of them. As we move into Thursday, you're going to really feel that total eclipse building, because at 11:44 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday night. I think I did that yesterday on Sharon's show too. I think I was saying Thursday when it was actually Friday. So what's happening Thursday? Well, it's another somewhat quiet day, and we're getting ready. We're feeling the buildup. You may need a little bit more rest. The balsamic phase, if you're in a place where you can see the stars, that's the time to go out. The balsamic phase and the new moon, because you want to really get a look at that sky, and the moon is not distracting the light. So, take a look at what's happening in the sky with Venus and Jupiter. So as we come to, I'm looking at when the moon moves into Sagittarius. So the moon moves into Sagittarius on Friday as we get ready for this eclipse early in the morning, because Friday night at 11:44 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So adjust if you're in a different time zone for Saturday. If you're in Hawaii, it's earlier. So that's when the full moon is exact, 11:44. It's total eclipse occurs at that time. Will we see it? No. And here's something that I found really interesting. The eclipse is going to be visible in Antarctica, Africa, South Africa, and we have had major stuff pop around beliefs and what we believe to be true. Is your body a self-healing organism? Are you taking care of your health? Are you buying into the prevailing collective fear? Or are you creating your own health in your own life? I suggest the latter, because it's only going to ramp up as this eclipse pops. And Neptune is also going to ramp it up. Neptune is going to ramp up conspiracy theories, illusion, delusion, things like that. So it's really good to remember love and above. And, conspiracy theories may have basis in truth. But you have to ask yourself, does it elevate your spirit? You are here to give a gift. You are here and capable of programming yourself. You don't need external forces telling you what's happening or what did happen. So one of the big delusional forces, as we know right now, is the media, the news. So be very careful where you take your news from, and become present. Drop into your heart. Check in with your world, not the world that's being fed to you from across miles and miles and oceans. Have compassion for the whole world. Absolutely. This is another thing that Neptune is going to bring forth for us. Random acts of kindness, more compassion, really moving into that frequency of love. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. And so it tells us to, how well can you love? I can't remember. I was watching the Actors Studio years ago. And I know that there's a question they ask at the end when you get to the pearly gates. What do you want God to say to you? What do you think he's going to say to you? And this person said, I think I'm going to be asked, how well did I love? I think that's just a beautiful, beautiful question. And it's a good one to ask ourselves. How well can we love? Oftentimes, conspiracy theories can engender needless fear, or they can end up polarizing us so that we have a division between those and that which we love, and those and that where we withhold love. And, the heart's a swinging door. So when you just love, that's what comes back to you. So as we move into this eclipse, it's a new moon, so we know it's a new beginning, but it's a turbocharged new beginning on steroids at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. Again, that number of completion. It's united with the South Node, Nodes. Nodes are not planets. They are positions on the ecliptic of the moon that have to do with destiny. So the South Node indicates what we are being asked to move away from. And the North Node is what we are asked to move toward. And knowing that it will take us out of our comfort zone, but that it will be worth the journey. This 12-degree eclipse becomes very important in another way because it unites with the ascendant of the United States. Your rising sign or the ascendant is the doorway to identity, the way you are seen by the world, the energy you put out, the characteristic of energy you put out into the world. So, of course, when this country began, it was all about expansion and opportunity. And indeed, this eclipse is going to bring you opportunities for expansion. But the caveat is to release old beliefs that no longer serve. One of my little peccadillos is the Declaration of Independence saying all men are created equal, as opposed to all humans are created equal. So there are little things. We've been fed beliefs by our parents who did the best they could. It was the system that worked for them. But we now are asked to look at that. We must look at that. So we may find that our beliefs are uprooted. Not just, I hear all the time about, oh yeah, they're asleep. I'm awake, but they're asleep. It's like, no. We are awakening. We are awakening. Everyone is awakening. This is a time of the collective. So it's not on our time schedule, their soul growth and their awakening. So don't get distracted by that. Just love. And if the conversation is absolutely negative, don't give it energy. You can give it love. And it'll just keep your field clear. And it'll give them something, they'll be in the presence of something they're maybe not aware of, that love that's coming. So we have this eclipse that only lasts for 2 minutes. In its totality, it's 2 minutes long. But it moves in, and you can look at your own time zone and see when it begins, when it ends, but it's only 2 minutes long in its totality. But it is total. And so this indicates this is a Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's masculine, and it has to do with the truth. This is a solar eclipse of truthiness, as the moon moves in between the sun and the earth, blocking the light of the sun from the earth. And so when it reappears, it pops new light and new information into some area of your life. And this, you're asked as you set your new moon intentions, to look back to the solar eclipse on June 25th, 6 months ago in Gemini, because this new moon is all about communication. And that new moon was about communication and new forms of communication. So, if you're resistant to technology, or you're resistant to connecting with people, or more basically to connecting with spirit, your spiritual self on a daily basis, this is going to bring you into an awareness of how vital that is in your life. You can look back to the time of that solar eclipse if you journal. And journaling is so powerful and important. It's an honoring of your own life and your daily process. I journal every morning, and it gets, if I wake up and I'm a little, even when I've done my light ingestion, meditation, if I'm a little out of sorts before I get fully awake, then I start to journal, and I just journal it all away. And it always turns me around, always turns me around. So faith, hope, and charity are three words that are associated with Sagittarius, and joy. So that's what you want to go for. The affirmation, a good affirmation for this new moon is I reclaim joy. Let me see. Yeah. I reclaim joy every moment of my life. I am in joy every moment of my life. Joy is the clearest evidence of the presence of spirit. And since this eclipse is occurring in a fire element, it is about spirit. With Neptune direct, it's absolutely about spirit. And that's when the magic comes in. Now, I want you to remember that eclipses, and this one is like a big volcano of energy, this surge of fire energy, but it shows up as far as the light and information, the meaning for you, 30, 60, 90 days for the revelations to unfold that are being popped with this eclipse. So that gives you a wonderful amount of time to look at the intentions and watch them unfold. So you want to align your values, a la the Taurus lunar eclipse, and your beliefs and your dreams and your vision. And ask yourself, what's possible? What's possible that I might not even have thought of yet? What's possible that I can't even imagine? Expand your consciousness. That's ideally what Sagittarius wants you to do. Remember, the word belief contains the word lie. So beliefs are malleable, and this sign is mutable. Mutable means change, and it tells you that this eclipse portends huge changes. And I've already told you with it uniting, and it doesn't unite like within a degree of the ascendant of the United States. Each degree has 60 minutes in it. It's within minutes, a little part of a degree of our United States ascendant. So our identity is changing, and we have agreed, most of us listening to this, to be in this country at this time. And the world watches the United States. It watches it around currency, around all the things that we put forth in the world. And this lunar eclipse might have popped in your life a lot of information around what's going to be happening with the currency. I find that this is a very, very exciting time. And if you can stay with that excitement, remember, fear and excitement are it's like a two-sided coin. Fear is false expectations appearing real. Feel them. Absolutely. As we wind down this Scorpio cycle, it tells you you must feel your feelings, because facts don't create. Remember that. Facts do not create. So if you want to be proactive, don't get lost in facts. Pay attention to your feelings. What are your feelings telling you? Intuition is going to be ramped up, especially with Neptune moving direct. Neptune connects to spirit. It's where we slip the bounds of physical existence to merge with spirit. And Neptune is moving through its home sign of Pisces. That only happens every 160 plus years. So it's a big deal. And if you have mutable energy, Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini, or Virgo, you're really going to feel this eclipse. If you have fixed energy, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, you are also feeling the changes and perhaps an amazing amount of divine discontent. Neptune reminds you to continually touch base with the sources of inspiration to allow your creative juices to flow. because out of your acknowledgement of the beliefs that no longer work, you're going to hatch a plan for 2022. And if you want some help with that, or you want to know exactly what this eclipse means for you, where 12 degrees of Sagittarius lands, where Jupiter, the ruler of this eclipse in Aquarius, is moving you into a bigger vision, a more expanded vision for humanity and community and the way you want to live in this world. And Neptune, if you want to know where all these things are and how they're going to move you forward for success in 2022 with grace and ease, book a session. This is a great time to book a session so that you are prepared and you are proactive and you are able to really manifest something wonderful in 2022 and stay on track. So as we move into this eclipse, you want to set intentions. And I've talked about this before, but there might be some of you that aren't aware of a feelization. And I always say you'll realize what you feelize. So take some time at the time of this eclipse to really look at what you want to release. Now, oftentimes the full moon is the main release point in the cycle. But in this case, it's a south node eclipse, indicating the past. So what are the beliefs that you've unearthed with that lunar eclipse in earthy Taurus that you do not want to take with you? So you can do a burning bowl ceremony for old beliefs. You know, the old belief, if there's lack or scarcity or not enough or these sort of things. And relationships are really going to be kicked off by this eclipse as well, by the way. We're really going to be looking at relationships. I want you to remember that the whole picture will not be revealed for at least 30 days. So if you have a piece that's, a burr in your bonnet, remember to let it unfold. Faith, hope, charity. So when you do a burning bowl, what I do is I write what I want to release. I just write. I have like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I write it out. And then if it fits on a Post-it note, I do that. If not, I take that piece of paper. And somebody asked me a while back, do I keep a copy of it? No, you're releasing these things. You've become aware of them. So you burn. You burn what you're releasing. You clear the field for this brand new beginning. And another wonderful thing to do is to then craft, and these you will keep, to craft an affirmative, proactive sentence of a belief that you're replacing that old belief with, that uplifts you and aligns you with what you want to create, the life you want to live, and what is true for you. This is what we're really getting to with this eclipse over the next 3 months and beyond, actually till the next eclipse season. What is true? And we're going to be challenged to really, really look at that. What's true? So, while you're asking yourself what's possible, ask yourself what's true. I feel that love is true, that love is the language through which Source speaks to us and from which we are created. That's one of my beliefs. Now, I'm not going to change that because that works for me. The idea that, that love is the answer. And this moon in Libra today and tomorrow asks you to roll that around, and see how love is the answer for you, how you are peace. That's how we see peace in the world, is by being peace. And when you do these things, you may have stuff come up. You may have some of those negative experiences, those beliefs from even childhood that were forged. Maybe you were in a family where the belief was, I'm not safe. I need to behave this way or that way, or I'm not going to be safe. So look back at that. Feel it. Tears may flow. We're talking about Scorpio, Pluto, shadow work, water. Let it flow. Because if you don't, it may end up putting the fire out. That is your real wonderful go juice for this eclipse. So you want to feel your feelings, write out those beliefs, burn them, realign with new beliefs. And as you burn, whether it's in a bowl or however you do it. Feel the energy of the smoke as if it's moving through every cell of your body and every parsec of your existence, almost like sticky stuff, picking up everything that relates to what you're releasing, taking it right out of your existence, back into its native nothingness. Then write your intentions. Yes, write them down. Again, you may decide to do a brain dump, because Sagittarius tells you that the intentions that you set now are going to grow. No doubt, they're going to grow. They're going to grow this new beginning for you. So you want to really be sure that the intentions that you set are what you want, that they're not just reactive, but that they're really proactive, aligned with, again, your vision, your truths, your dreams, your values, your beliefs. What do you desire? We talked last week about your heart's desire. So sit with that. If you haven't gotten in touch with that, ask Spirit. Well, okay, you may not know, but again, breathe in that bronze light. Inhale, inhale, inhale. White light at your crown comes down in as you exhale, and all that mental thinkety-think drops, and the golden light created between the bronze and the white drops down through your face, down through your neck and your chest, until you land in your heart. And then ask your heart, what do you desire? What do you really desire? Is it peace? Is it community? What is it? Because you're the creator. You can create that in your own life, and you have this opportunity. Sagittarius is a sign of opportunity and adventure and expansion. It can also be self-righteous. It can be, here comes the judge. So those are old beliefs. You get to look at where you use judgment as a means of protection. Judgment closes the heart. But love, the willing to be discerning rather than judgmental, opens the heart again. So as you set those intentions, you want to write it down, because writing is an instant form of manifestation. Now, if you want to set up an altar, if you are someone who really loves to do ritual, and you can see from my moon back here and my candles and the lavender and the panther, which is my totem and is a lunar animal, that I love ritual. And the human species really loves ritual, and the universe, our energies respond. They sync up when we do ritual. So I want to just give you some ritual tools for Sagittarius. So the colors are dark royal blue and yellow. And the flower is carnation or dandelion. You might decide to have some dandelion tea, because Sagittarius rules the liver, the hips and thighs, and it also has to do with all the organs of assimilation, like the gallbladder. And if you're taking care of your liver, which is another good organ to cleanse during this time, you'll find that it's the helmsman for our whole digestive system, and that includes our emotions. So it can help us not be over the top angry. The gallbladder holds rage, every organ holds emotions, and can create an environment for dis-ease if those emotions are not acknowledged and cleared. So we continue in this time of clearing and cleansing until we hit the solstice and the new year begins. The gems are azurite, spinel, and lapis lazuli. So again, that's azurite, which is that beautiful blue and green stone. Spinel, which comes in all sorts of colors, so you can ask your inner self, what color would you like? And lapis lazuli. So those are some things that you can use, the colors, etc. Maybe a candle that's that color as you set your new moon intentions. Have fun with this. Sagittarius says, how much joy can you manifest? You've heard the phrase by Jove. Well, that's Jupiter, and that's the ruler of Sagittarius. So when you're setting your intentions, ask yourself what your expansive vision is. And then ask yourself if it is on solid ground. because many of the foundations on which we've built our lives are crumbling. And there are new beliefs that will come to shore it up. This is a solar eclipse of no less than rebirth. So we're going to see, as the 3D world continues to go through destruction, transformation, and rebirth, we're planting the seeds for this very actively now. So as you set your intention, you write it down. You want it to be simple and concise. After you do your intention setting and you do this process, you'll put 3 action steps under each intention. So you don't need to put the whole kitchen sink, but you may need to write a bit to get it narrowed down. So you are the architect of your reality and the gardener of your soul. It's one of my own quotes that I love. And this really reminds you of that, as both Saturn and Jupiter, Jupiter, the ruler of this eclipse, are in the visionary futuristic Aquarius. The challenge is Aquarius can also be very stubborn about the opinions that it holds. And therefore, the really negative side of Aquarius is totalitarianism and dictatorship. So you want to have an open mind. How can I open my mind to new possibilities? This eclipse is about communication. How can I act locally and yet get my message out more globally? Or participate in more of a global message? There's something called the Global Coherence Initiative that you can look up that moves into a global meditation at each full moon. So these are ways that from your home, you can participate in this uplifting, exciting time globally in a positive, proactive way. So once you've written your intention down, I usually say 1 for health, 1 for relationship, and then 1 more generally. And I would say that that depends on where this eclipse occurs in your chart, 12 degrees of Sagittarius. And then you close your eyes, you get a picture of it, you see the intention right there across your forehead. Inside, it's all lit up, and you are visualizing, you're getting a really good picture of what that looks like. And then you begin to drop. And you drop, 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 drop. See that intention turning with its light, and just the light coming down into your body. And as it gets to your heart and then your belly, it explodes into the feelings of what it feels like to have that intention manifest right now. You're going to take your intentions 1 at a time, just 1 at a time. You feelize it and just luxuriate in the feeling until you've got an inner smile, if not an outer smile, if not just laughter. And then you ramp it up. You ramp that light up even more so it moves through your skin, filling your auric field, so that you are now embodying the frequency of that intention manifested right now. Listen for the messages that you receive. As I said, this is a highly intuitive time. It always is at this time of the year, but with Neptune moving direct and this total solar eclipse popping, new light, new information from the world of spirit, fire, spirit, wonderful things very likely may come through. So you step into that picture, you feel the feeling, and then when you feel complete, you open your eyes and you write any messages that might have come to you. And you write the 3 action steps you're going to take. And you calendar them. When are you going to begin them? What do you need to begin them? Etc. Do you have beliefs that keep you in procrastination? Do you have things that you need to learn? This is one of the things that the eclipse from 6 months ago asked you. Gemini is the sign of learning. It can also be the teacher, but the professor of the zodiac is Sagittarius, which is why the danger of self-righteousness, my truth is the only truth, can be very dangerous. So remember that the symbol for Sagittarius is the archer. It is the truth seeker of the zodiac, the adventurer, because of the seeking, right? So he pulls back his bow, lets it fly in the air. The lower half is a horse, and it is rooted in the earth, while the top half, the human half, is off on its adventure. So as we move into next week, when the moon is in Pisces, when it goes over Neptune, you are going to see the veracity or the reality of the intentions you've set, because they must be grounded in reality in your life. What are the steps you're going to take to ground these? It can be, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. What are you going to do to make sure that these are not just pipe dreams? Yes, big intentions for growth and expansion of your consciousness, and also expanding the horizons of your mind and your world. Someone was telling me recently, because I said, there's so much traveling I want to do, and I just haven't been able to do any of it in this time. And they said, well, I go to Google and I go to that place, and you can actually take a tour. You can be right there. I thought, well, maybe I'll do a bit of that. Of course, you have to be careful not to get lost in the digital world, although some say we're living in a virtual reality anyway. So this is how you want to set your intentions, and know that, like I said, turbocharged on steroids, new moon. So this is a brand new beginning possible here. If you have any questions at this point, please put them in the crawl or the chat. I love hearing.
I will pop back in, and I don't see any questions, but more just, I want to thank everybody for sharing it out. And I love that. Elisha says, I love this country. So grateful I was born in America. Me too. Me too. What you guys will find is up in the description of this video, there is a link to book a session with Claudia. That's all you need to do is click on the little linky poo. That's it. And then you're going to be rocking and rolling with the session. And look for Claudia to come back next week, same time on Moonday. And what is there anything left? Anything else that you
Well,
want to share
Debbie, I was
before we
thinking
go?
this morning, you're having a lunar return. So
I am.
yeah, what's a lunar return? Well, every lunar cycle, every 28 to 29 and a half days, the moon returns to where it was when you were born. And it literally, like, your solar return sets up a chart for the year.
Yeah.
But the lunar return sets up a chart for the month, for the current cycle. And it tells you where your emotions are going to get the most bang for your buck and where to focus. So it can be very valuable, because Sagittarius and Neptune, it can feel confusing and scattered. So when you take those, and I work with lunar returns when I work with you, if you do a longer program with me, I work with those so that you know exactly where to target your energy, so you're not all over the place. And that's something you want to watch for when you're setting your intentions and in your daily life, that you don't overextend. It's really easy to do at this time of year anyway. But you want to really do, and this is really, it's a dance of adjustment. We have what's called a quincunx, or a dance of adjustment, between that lightning bolt, sudden change, revolutionary planet, Uranus. And hi, Daniela, love you, darling. And so Taurus is where Uranus is currently, and Sagittarius is 5 signs away. So when you have an opposition, like at the full moon, you're face to face. You get, you get clarity. You pop the full picture. But when it's in a quincunx, 5 signs away, it's kind of like you're looking around a door trying to get a fix on it. So this eclipse is in exact quincunx. It's within 1 degree. I think Uranus is at 11 degrees. So expect big changes. This eclipse is going to be big changes in your life, and you're probably going to feel the energy that is saying that you're being asked to make a quantum leap. Now, if you are releasing old beliefs from way back when, and I think I mentioned before that when we had the Scorpio start, I had Mars square. my natal Pluto. Well, that put me from 11/11 to 11/17. I'm so grateful for the science of astrology, because I knew rather than looking for an exit sign, which I did a couple of times, I knew that I was in the basement. I was in the basement and the sewage was floating around my nose and I had to look at it. And I thought I'd cleared really well. But there was still some things that then at the lunar eclipse popped. Oh, it's around values and self-esteem. These are just messages you got as a kid that you interpreted or perceived this way or that way. So this is what, like I said, it's like a volcano that brings up all this stuff.
Yeah.
So you can cleanse and clear your path. So this quantum leap is available to you, but it's a quantum leap in consciousness. How can you make this leap? We've got a huge media program going on now that was kicked off a week ago. So I find it interesting astrologically, as I said, because the eclipse is impacting that part of the world.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, I know what I'm doing for my own health. I know what I'm doing for my mindset. I know that I believe this is a time of awakening. Do I think that it's like Betty Davis said, hold on, it's going to be a bumpy night? Yes. But I believe that I know I'm on a train to an awakened planet. And I know that that train is in motion and cannot be stopped, no matter what. Remember Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
Twilight Zone. Remember the ghosts and the things outside the window of the plane? And all the crashing lightning, like Uranus? But the plane kept going. And that's us. That's us, sweet beloveds. That's us.
Yep, we keep going. Well, what's funny is that you were talking about liver. I just finished a liver cleanse, literally, like yesterday. There, and that was what it was like. It was leading up to it. I'm like, I think it might be a great idea to do a liver cleanse, and I like the one that we chose. It was from Global Health Center in Texas, Dr. Group, who's one of my favorites. I've been following him for years. Global Health Center. They have some really good stuff. I mean, I'm not an affiliate for them or anything, you guys, just telling you that's the liver cleanse I used. And it was a 5-day. It was really super easy peasy.
Oh, good. And that's good to know.
It was all natural. So, I mean, it was just the major part was the Epsom salt and the olive oil.
Well, this is a perfect, you're right in line, because we're going to have a cycle that's about the liver, the gallbladder, assimilation, and so, cleansing the liver it's so important. I'm wearing glasses right now, but I did a long liver cleanse that recalibrated my whole digestive system, because I had gone through a major illness. And so it was like 6 months, and it was just one of the side effects of the gut health program I've been doing. But I have my glasses on because of my writing and my notes, but I don't wear glasses anymore. I wear them for close work, but I don't wear them for, I don't need to drive. I don't need to wear them to drive unless it's late at night. So
that's good.
The liver and your vision are related.
Well, yeah, because you have all those toxins. Your liver is a filterization. So, anybody ever own a pool and you got to clean out your filter or anything? Just, you got to clean out your filter. It's just a filter. Filters need to be cleaned. Your vacuum cleaner. Have you ever had to clean the filter of your vacuum cleaner? That kind of thing. Clean out the dust, the debris, the stuff, and I just think it's important. But yeah, that's what I was that's what I was listening to. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's pretty cool. All right. So we have came up to just about the top of the hour. So everybody, if you would like to schedule a session with Claudia, please do so. And the link is in the description of this chat. Claudia, what would you like to leave everybody with today?
Cultivate joy every chance you get. Feel your feelings. And remember, it's a time of quantum leaps, but you want to ground yourself in your spiritual practice, in honoring your 5 senses, in really good sacred self-care, and watch what you allow in. What are you eating mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically? Communicate from your heart. Drop into your heart and communicate and breathe from there as much as possible, because we are really going to see those beliefs, those old lies that we've been marching to sometimes our whole lives come up, and we get to choose. But remember the importance of replacing those old beliefs with new beliefs that support you in your magnificence as a creator.
Ah, I love that. It's so true. I was having this discussion yesterday. You don't need to change. Your belief systems need to change. Your perspectives and how that you see things need to change. No one's broken and no one needs to be fixed. So, all right. Well, I think that we are up, and you guys, if you want to book a session, go for it. It's right in the chat there. Please do. And join me again later this week. I'll be on tomorrow night with Taya Talk, with the Taya Lounge with Stacy, and God, just the rest of this week. It's going to be fabulous. But
allow yourself to dream. You know, I mean, what's possible when you think of the things that seem to have become impossible in your life, or that might become impossible? Try not to go there, and just ask yourself, no, I'm a creator. What's possible? What's my adventure? What is this adventure called life? You know, ground yourself, call the directions. That's a great way to ground yourself in the morning. And then realize that you're the universe. You
call in the east. So what you're saying is call in the east, the west, south, and the north.
And the above, the below, center.
Okay. Beautiful. I love it. All right. Thank you, Claudia, so much.
I love you all. Thank you so much, Debbie.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody. We'll see you later. And if you haven't, happy Moon Eclipse. And if you haven't liked Spirituality Gone Wild, please do. And also go over and visit Claudia's page at
Moon Powered Astrology.
Moon Powered Astrology.
I love hearing from you. Love it.
Bye.